very few people wanted to remain in Europe. Jewish people I'm talking about, because there were too many bitter memories. And so everybody's aim was to go either to Israel, which was very difficult. A lot of young people went to England as students, and those of us who were lucky enough to get papers to come to the States is what we did. Gradually, there are still some people that I know that remained in Czechoslovakia, but most people left. Came to 3 different places: England, actually scattered all over the world. I have family and friends in Australia, I have family and friends in South America, and I mean, all over the world. Everybody settled somewhere else, but everybody left there.
And what enabled you and your sister Edith to come to America? How were you able to do that?
We had a distant cousin who got papers for us for the school. And so there was an organization, the Joint Distribution, who supported us financially. And we came in June. They put us up in a hotel and subsequently found us apartments just before school started. But for the 2 months in June and July, again, no worry in the world, and we were provided for with food, and they gave us some pocket money as well. And then we just, they found us a room in somebody's apartment, my sister and I. So we lived in the Bronx, went to school in Brooklyn, Beth Yaakov Seminary. It was a Hebrew school. They were the ones who sent us the papers. It wasn't a public school. In the morning we had classes in English. It took us a while to learn how to learn. And in the afternoon it was Hebrew. And so I remember our main diet was, we weren't used to white bread. The white packaged bread, jam and bread, morning, noon and night. We didn't cook. But we had some people who really sort of took us in, and we were 2 young kids, and the whole neighborhood got together. They bought us clothes once in a while, and they made sure that we had meals. I mean, everybody sort of chipped in.
And this was the neighborhood around the school, or
no,
here in the Bronx?
We were in the Bronx. Okay. And we stayed with a little old lady. We had 1 room, and she slept in the living room, but she needed the money, and so she went to it. Basically, when I left Czechoslovakia, I promised that after 2 years of study, otherwise they wouldn't have let me out, that I would go back and learn here, and what I learned to come back to Czechoslovakia to teach. The aim was to remain here no matter what. But what happened was, while we were here, the Czech people voted to, if you want history, I can tell you some of it.
That's fine. Yeah, include it.
We had, our president was Garek Masaryk. He was a professor at Columbia University. And when World War I ended, they formed Czechoslovakia, and he became the president of Czechoslovakia. He married an American woman. Her name was Garek, and he assumed her name. So his full name was Thomas Garek Masaryk. And he was the president of the Czechoslovakian country. Now, he died before Hitler came into power. No, not before he came into power, but before he invaded Czechoslovakia. I have a feeling if he had been alive, he wouldn't have dared do it because it was a very prestigious. It was the best democracy in all of Europe. And but the vice president, whose name was Benesch, took over. But when the Germans came in, they sent him out of the country, and he went to Sweden. After the war, our president's son became a very, very popular politician. And he wanted the same kind of democracy that we had as when his father was alive. There was a man named Gottwald, who was an ardent communist, and they decided that they were going to vote either for Masaryk's son or vote for Gottwald. At some point, he was the son, Masaryk's son. Suddenly we discovered that he is dead, and they claimed that he fell out a window. In fact, they killed him. And so Gottwald took over. Now, they didn't become communist right away, because when I left, it wasn't communist yet. But while I was here in the States, they had elections, voted him in, and the country became communist. America decided that all the people that were here on a temporary visa, if they chose not to go back to the country, to a communist country, could apply and become citizens here. And so, of course, that was the aim to begin with, and that's what we did. So, a bit of history.
Did most of your family stay in the Sudeten lands, or did they resettle elsewhere as well?
Yes, they had no way to come out. I mean, you had to have something to leave. So my youngest sister, Blanca, and my mother remained in Czechoslovakia